Hey guys, so today we're talking to Janaya about her experience when her son Jack got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, thanks Dan. What a journey, in itself.
Absolutely.
It's been a lot. So our son Jack, our oldest son Jack, who's 6 years old, got diagnosed just before his 4th birthday with type 1 diabetes. And I guess, sharing with you guys what it actually looked like. So we had started to we just had Billy. Billy was only a couple of weeks old. So I'd just given birth to our third baby Billy, and it was really weird. So I was in this thick of post-birth, couple of weeks.
That time of your life in general is so chaotic. It's just a blur. You're trying and then you've got other kids. You're trying to, you're really in survival mode. Trying to look after your other kids. You've not had much sleep. You're still trying to feed and all the things. And
so we just had Bill, brought him home, and over about a week, I'd noticed that Jack had gotten a viral illness from preschool a few weeks before that. And it was his skin wasn't healing. He was getting little rashes, and Jack's got beautiful skin. All my kids have got really good skin. And I'm this isn't normal. He was getting some weird little rashes that weren't healing. He was drinking a lot of water. It was hot though. It was warmer weather. We'd just moved on our property. There's 2 houses. We'd moved from one to the other. So I was finding all these excuses in my head as to why I was drinking so much water.
Yeah.
It's really hot.
As you do, and I don't think
kids like to drink anyway.
Yeah, right? And that's right. And I don't think that's a sign that people would look for, right? If your kid's just drinking water, especially when you're busy and you've got other children that you're navigating, you're probably not realizing how much more water. You're thinking, oh yeah, he's drinking a lot of water, but not how excessive it was until a certain point.
Yeah, and then it started to get more and more and more, and he's drinking lots of water. And then it was the weeing through the night. And that probably went on for about a week. And
so when you're saying weeing through the night,
or drenched, Denny, the last,
so wetting the bed,
or wetting the bed, but I'm talking head to toe wetting the bed, soaking. And I'm this is not normal. I had a weird smell to it as well. And then I initially thought maybe he's got a UTI. So then that morning, I had put his little pants on, got him dressed, and I was oh my god, they're falling off. That's not normal. So I said to Jacko, hey, this is what's just happened. I want to take him to the doctor, straight away, was yeah. And Jacko's fucking yes, we're taking you to the doctor. And Jacko isn't the sort of person that's run to the doctor for everything. He's we'll only go to the doctor if he truly believes that it's necessary. And for Jacko to be get him in the car
Something's
now,
up.
We're going to the doctor. So we piled everybody into the car.
His dad instincts were probably
kicking in as well, which actually concerns me because Jacko's are really it's when shit's real.
We
got in the car, went into the doctor, and we did a car park appointment because Billy was only a couple of weeks old. I didn't want to be taking them into the doctor's surgery, so we did a car park appointment. At this point though, on the way into the doctors, I'd been researching Jack's symptoms.
Oh, which would have been terrifying.
So terrifying. And it was type 1 diabetes, juvenile diabetes. It was all coming back to that. So I educated myself, and I basically diagnosed my Jack with that just off my own research. Anyway, so I see the doctor. The doctor comes out, lovely doctor, has a look over Jack. Jack's at this point, you've got to remember too, while we're seeing these symptoms, he actually still looks probably okay to the eye that doesn't see him every day.
And that's the difference though, is we know our children, we know their temperament, we know their little quirks.
Yeah, anyway, so I said to the doctor, hey, these are his symptoms. The doctor's he probably has some sort of infection. And I was okay, well, I've actually done my research and this is what it's saying. I would like to request a finger prick test.
Yeah.
And the doctor was nope, he presents too well, he looks fine, he presents too well, basically. And I was no, this is what's happening. That's very visible. And Jacko was standing behind me, and I'm over this doctor. He's standing up, pretty tall doctor. And I'm I'm sorry, I'm not going to take that answer. He goes, I'll go talk to my boss and I'll come back. He's even come back again after talking to his boss and going, no, it's too traumatic to do a finger prick. We only do it if really necessary. And I was this is necessary. My son has these symptoms.
Yeah.
and I would like you to do a finger prick. I said, okay.
So they said, okay, we'll do it.
We'll do the test. And Jacko's like, don't worry, Janaya, I'll take him in. You stay in the car with the other 2 kids. And I just had a gut feeling. Then I heard a scream, and Jack had been finger pricked, which is not actually that big of a deal now that we do it 20 million times a day. But
back then
it was a lot. And honestly, they came running back to the car. The doctor was walking with his head down, and he was like, I'm really sorry. I'm really fucking sorry. You need to get to that hospital right now. I've called them. You need to go. And I was like, well, what's wrong? And he goes, on the meter that checks the levels, we couldn't even get a reading. It was that high. Oh. So it had even gone past the GP's level reading.
Oh, where they could get up to.
So it was like, it went that high. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Imagine the doctor in that moment just thinking, if I had not have listened to this mum, I hope he learnt a valuable lesson that day.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you guys about that as well. But basically, we went down to the hospital. They called ahead. Again, I had Bill, who's a couple weeks old, and Fred, who was only 18 months old at that time as well. And Jack was like, you stay here, park you at the front, I'll take Jack in, and we'll get it sorted, and we'll keep calling. Anyway. I
actually remember you ringing me on that trip down.
Yeah.
When Jacko had gone in and you were sitting in the car. Yeah.
So Jacko had gone in, and I think like 10 minutes, it felt like 3 hours, but 10 minutes had passed, and they hadn't taken him through. They made him fucking sit
there.
They made him sit in the actual ED room where everyone else is sitting. And I said to Jackson, no, I'm not fucking dealing with this. I was so angry, and I was like, you need to tell them, like, didn't the doctor like call ahead? Anyway, so they called. Ended up being the pediatricians that had ran down, and were like, where's this patient? He might have been sitting down there for like an hour or 2 before he'd even gotten through. He was dying. My son was dying in ED. They took him through straight away. They did a finger prick. A normal blood glucose, for you guys to know, a normal blood glucose is between 4 and 8. That's a normal person's blood glucose levels. Jack's was 57.
Oh my gosh.
And not only that, he had ketones through the roof, which is another thing I'll delve into a little bit more, but he had these huge ketones. So all his major organs in his body had started to shut down. His body, he was dying, right? Like he was literally dying. They couldn't believe that he wasn't already in a coma. So like in DKA, they couldn't, like they literally were like, how's he look so good? And he actually did, because he was drinking so much water, he was flushing the ketones out, keeping himself alive.
Yeah.
Hooked him up to everything you could ever imagine in that hospital. And when I got in, it was a big shock to me. So Jackson had done all this. And then when I called my mum, because obviously I had 2 other kids, I couldn't just like leave them. So mum came, took the kids, and I came into that hospital. And I remember looking at him, and because they couldn't sedate him or something, they had him wrapped around the bed with blankets so tight because of all the so he had like
that would have been
6 different mortifying. I feel like he had like drips and everything. He had fluids, he had insulin drips, he'd had everything cooking up, and I was just like, it was the biggest like smack in the face. And I was like, oh my god, I was instantly bawling. He was bawling, Jackson was bawling. The whole thing was just a complete fucking mess.
Like when you walk in there and you see your child wrapped in blankets because they couldn't hold them down.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the feeling for you walking in and seeing that.
It was literally like nothing I have ever felt in my entire life. Like I just was bawling, and I was like, it was just, I can't even explain the feeling. It was just like, and then I was like, is he gonna be okay? Like at this point I was like, and they still hadn't, they had officially diagnosed him with type 1. And then we had met, oh my god, I can't even tell you how many people, like doctors, nurses, specialists, pediatricians, dietitians, diabetic educators, endocrinologists, fucking you name it. And I was like, who is who in the zoo? I was like,
you're dealing with such a significant trauma as well. Like you're now thinking, my son has been diagnosed with a life-threatening condition. I don't even know how to help him. I have to learn all of this stuff now. Now I have to meet all these people to train me, but I'm actually still sitting in the moment of this shock of just like...
Literally. And then we got... So once Jack was stabilised and not in a, I guess, where he was going to die, they had taken us up to the children's ward, the paediatricians up there. We got settled into our room, and then we got the talk, like the talk from the doctors and the diabetic educators that this is what it is. And I remember not accepting it. And I was like, no, let's, like, surely we can cure him. Like, there's something we can do. Like, I was like not accepting that, like, Janaya, there is no cure for this. This is what it is for the rest of his life. There's no cure. There's no... And I just remember not accepting it. I was like, this is not it. Like, and I'm researching and I'm like, oh, overseas they do this and whatever. And the diabetic educators kept saying, like, you need to just stop Googling, basically. And you need to just accept that this is, you know.
I think, though, that any mum in that situation is going to not want to accept it. I think every one of us think, and I did the same with Carly's allergies. Like, how am I going to cure this? Like, and you go on, you talk to other people, and all these people have these ideas on why this has happened, and you can do this to fix this. And at the end of the day, you really do have to accept your reality.
Exactly.
When there is nothing that you can, you know, you can keep your children healthy in many other areas.
So many,
but you have to actually put on your big girl pants sometimes and think, right, well, I have to actually do what is needing to be done to keep my child alive now.
And it's interesting you say that, because at the hospital when Jacko and I were getting all of the education on how to manage and look after Jack and, you know, really keep him healthy and keep him well when we take him home. So we're obviously learning about, you know, checking his blood glucose level, giving him insulin, carb counting, all the things at the different times that have to be done. And I remember it was like either Jacko and I were bad at different times. So, like, for example, if I was like really upset and really emotional about the whole situation, Jacko would be really good. Like, he'd be like, we've got this, like everything's going to be good. And then it would swap, and then he would go home and be like a mess.
Falling on the floor.
In the grief of it. And then I would be good, like not good, but like able to handle the situation and like both be like, so it was good that it happened like that instead of us both being like, what is happening?
You really need someone to always be like holding the reins and allowing the other person to sit in the grief.
And I was so lucky with Jacko that he did a lot of the hands-on injections and finger pricks, because I was like this Denny.
Yeah. Oh,
like I was like, what the fuck, how am I supposed to give my kid a needle? Like, I'm already not great with needles, and then I'm injecting my kid 6, 10, 12 times a day.
Oh, I can imagine that would be
overwhelming. And I'm like having to learn how to use the pens, having to learn how to do it all. Then I've got Jack who's not wanting to do any of it, obviously.
And it's so hard for a little boy to understand that one day they're just running around, kicking the footy, doing whatever they want, and then next minute they've got needles and all the things they have, you know, like that's just a lot for them to comprehend.
So much.
They can't really comprehend that.
No, so he, like just getting a head around it all. Jack stayed, like honestly, he was giving the doctors and nurses so much cheek. We were able to have day trips away from the hospital, so we'd take him home. He'd ride Custard and come back with the photo and the video. And
for those that don't know what Custard is
one of Jack's mini bulls.
And like,
Custard.
What is Custard?
What is Custard? Jack's got a few little mini bulls, and we'd take him home from the hospital, like in the time that he had to stay there for that week or 2 weeks. I can't even remember how long it was. It was a long period of time. And in between being able to take him home, and it was more for us to feel confident when we got home with Jack that we knew what we were doing.
So little tastes of what it was like.
We got little tastes at home.
Go back. Brain dump everything. Get any corrections that you needed to.
And like carb counting was a really big thing, like learning how to carb count correctly based on his blood glucose level, based on how much insulin he's having for that. And obviously, you know, so you do the finger prick, you find out what his blood glucose level is, how many carbs he's having, and then that determines how much insulin he gets.
And that is so overwhelming. I remember that period of time when you were in the hospital, you were messaging me so late at night. This was like your little routine.
Yeah,
You'd voice message me
when I was driving home from the hospital.
The whole way home, every single night I'd get, and it'd be so late, and I'd just think, this poor woman, she must be so tired. Not only that, you had a baby at home.
Yeah, I had a little baby Billy at home, and then I had Mum, and I remember I kept Bill with me the whole time. So while I was going into, because Bill was only a newborn, he slept so much through the day.
And you were still trying to feed at the time.
I was trying to feed, and I had breastfed all my babies for like a really long period of time. And I remember this one night when I was traveling home, Billy was crying really hard, a lot in the car, and I got home and I was like, Mum, I've just fed him in the hospital. And she's like, darling, he sounds hungry. I'm like, I've just fed him on both boobs. Like, Mum's like, do you have any formula? And I was like, oh, I might. But like, breastfeeding is what I've always done, and I've done it so well. And then Mum got out a bowl of formula, and Bill sculled it. And I was like, oh my God. So then I'm dealing with the guilt of losing my milk because of the stress of Jack.
Yeah.
So then I'm like losing my milk and I'm like, oh my God.
And that is a whole different thing as any mum that's listening. Anyone that has, you know, breastfeeding's not easy, but anybody that has been able to breastfeed for a period of time and then has had to make the decision to stop, especially when they weren't ready to stop. Even if you were ready to stop, it's still bittersweet, but if you weren't ready to stop, then you're dealing with all those emotions, like trying to live in the moment of your newborn baby stage and all of that. But I
felt like I didn't really get to do that because, well, I enjoyed every moment that I had with Bill, but it was like when he was a newborn, but it was like I was just thrown into this diagnosis with Jack that I had to, Bill was just with me the whole time. So like mum was with Fred, me and Jacko was swapping shifts at the hospital, and I was just doing my best to navigate it all, to be honest. And then, we got more confident with it and we started to accept that this is our life, but we can still have such an amazing life. It's not a terminal illness, but we have to be onto it. Because obviously if he has a really bad high, so like if his blood glucose level shoots up really high, that's super dangerous. If it's higher for a period of time, obviously if he goes up and down, like, you know, that can happen for a number of different reasons. But if he's high and stays high, that's when your ketones start coming in, then you go into DKA, obviously then can die. Then a low, so we experienced his first lows where he was crashing down. So like, because they go through, I don't even know if they call it this anymore, but it's like a honeymoon phase when you first get diagnosed where your body's sporadically producing little bits of insulin. So obviously as a type 1 diabetic.
And why does that happen?
So it's like only when you first get diagnosed for like, I don't even know how long it is, but it's not very long. So what had happened was that virus from preschool, immune responses to fight off the virus in your body. Well, in Jack's case, it had fought too hard and it had overfought and killed off all the cells around his pancreas that produce insulin. So type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease that your body stops producing insulin. Type 1 diabetes should not even be called, in my opinion, this is my opinion, diabetes. Because when someone hears diabetes, they think of an overweight person that hasn't looked after themselves and can't eat sugar.
Yeah, people that are not making the best choices in their
exactly.
life.
Type 2 diabetes and type 1 diabetes is the complete opposite disease, in my opinion. And it frustrates me because that's a common question. And it's like, he's a little tiny, healthy, 3, nearly 4-year-old, an amazing diet, healthy little boy, just got really unlucky and got this disease. And so I'm like all about spreading awareness about the difference of type 1 and type 2 because that's like a common question that I get. But like what our life looks like now, the first 12 months, Jack was we were injecting. So obviously we're doing the finger prick, finding out what his glucose level was, counting his carbs, going back to the charts and going, okay, he needs this much insulin. So he was on a short acting insulin and then a long acting insulin at night. And then basically we were doing that and we were navigating life and we were, obviously educating mum and then educating the preschool so that Jack could get back to some sort of normal. It was a new normal, but like some sort of normal. He was still doing all the things, absolutely loving life. There was obviously, and this is another big thing, things that we have to be hyper aware of is like, if Jack gets sick, what that looks like, it's not dangerous. It's more dangerous because then he can get high in ketones and all the things can come in, or gastro, and he goes
goes to hospital.
Gastro's immediate hospital with a type 1. So it's just like all the things that you have to think about so much more. They're like the mental load of when they're a little bub, like he was a little bub that didn't understand what's going on. And then now Jack's got a pump, so he's got an insulin pump, so he has a little cannula line that's in his belly that goes into the pump, which has made it a little bit more of an automatic process, I guess you want to say. It's sort of like the pump is like an artificial pancreas that's on the outside. And he's got a little cannula line and it's giving him background insulin. And then obviously when he eats, he gets, we dose him for the amount of carbs that he's having, and then that goes into his pump, and then that gives him pumps in the insulin. He's got a little glucose monitor on his arm, which is like a little sensor that connects to his pump, which reads what the glucose level is and can give him the correct amount of insulin based on his levels. So that's, I think, helped, a lot, having the pump, because and also the CGM in his arm. I guess having that technology we're really lucky. That wasn't a thing So yeah, there's a lot to it, and I'm only, I guess, scratching the surface, but it's, you know, there's been a massive amount of stuff to have to
and even like the mental load for you guys, but also Jack, like I know when we were obviously sharing my story about Carly's allergies, we were saying how she's very blissfully unaware at the moment. And at first, when Jack, he was only a little bit older than what Carly is now when he got diagnosed, and at that young age they still don't comprehend. But now Jack is getting to an age where it is starting to affect him mentally.
It is.
So I think that would be really important for us to talk about on another time as well, because that's something really that in my future is still yet to come with Carly, and how that affects her mentally as well. So I think
it's a big thing.
We're
lucky. We've got an incredible support, like, you know, and beautiful friends. Obviously Jacko and I are just like a rock solid with this, so like we're so on the same page. We both look after Jack and like you know, give him the absolute best life given the situation. Jack's so healthy. His levels, like, we try and keep them as within range and as stable as possible, so that he doesn't have any other long-term issues that come in. You know, he's still living his absolute best life. We're just navigating this behind the scenes, and Jack still does like so much more out of the ordinary than what an average kid does anyway. Like,
absolutely, he definitely lives the life, and he's so brave.
He's so brave. Like,
actually, now I'm thinking about it, I never really thought about it like this, but you know how we speak about like Carly's outgoing personality and Jack is too. I feel like these little warriors need to have these really strong, bold, confident personalities.
They've got to have a fight.
I think they're going to need that. There's a reason that they were blessed with that, because that's something that they will need to carry through life.
100%.
But you do such a good job with Jack. I really take my hat off to you. Like, even when you're talking to me about it, even like just before when you said about, you know, carb counting, all this, half the people listening probably don't even know how to, like, just the basics of differences between carbs and proteins and all those sorts of things. People are still, unless they're maybe actively trying to watch those things for their fitness or whatever, a lot of people don't know all the different things, and just the basic stuff that is basic for you now, but that is a lot of mental load. And even when that all first happened, when he first got diagnosed, just trying to watch you have to learn all of that. I remember we went to your place for dinner, and at that point in time you still needed papers.
Everything was on paper. It was like all charted and everything. It was like way more manual than what it is now. But it's like, people probably don't, like, they look at an apple in the cupboard and go, I'm just going to go eat an apple. That's not our life.
No.
It's like, get the apple, cut it up, weigh the apple, count how many carbs are in the apple. And then that's how many, you know, 15 grams of carbs in the apple, for example. And you pop that into the pump, and then it gives him the right amount of insulin for that right amount of carbs. So like, that in itself is a really big thing. But I know it like second nature now. So I can like look at a food that's like a whole food, like some fruit or something, and I'm like pretty onto it. I still weigh everything for reference, but it's crazy how much your brain starts to actually go, yes, I know all these things. It's like a switch.
You get more familiar with it. So what would be one sort of piece of advice, I guess, if you could put yourself back into those first few weeks when Jack, or even first few months when Jack first got diagnosed, and the huge amount of overwhelm that you would have experienced by having all of this in front of you and trying to count carbs and trying to do other things, what would one piece of advice be to someone that's newly in that position?
It's, you got to ride the wave. You've got to ride it. You've got to feel it. And you do have to accept it. And that's probably one of the biggest things that you naturally don't want to do, obviously. But when you accept it, then you can start to actually open up the world of what your life actually will look like. And it is still going to be amazing. You're still going to live such an incredible, your child's still going to live such an incredible life. Yes, it is a lot more into medical intervention. There's a lot more, like, I can't go to sleep at night, Dan, and wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm up all night. Like, Jack's pump might beep 10, 12 times a night. It's like having a newborn on steroids. But I think it's sort of like, the advice that I would give is be kind to yourself. It's not your fault that your child has been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. This is an uncontrollable diagnosis that you could have done nothing to prevent.
No, absolutely.
It's not something that you should beat yourself up over because it is. There's no prevention of this.
No, and
this is just a freak diagnosis, and it unfortunately is becoming more common that I've seen. Reach out, like, you know, have a chat, talk to other people that are navigating the same thing, because it is quite, you know, we go to a kids party and there's a million lollies there. Jack can have a lolly, but it's like not 20 million. Like, but obviously there's like, Jack's like, oh, I want to eat the lollies with my friends, and it's like,
and you want to be like, okay, let them, but also,
it's just like educating. I went to a kids party recently, and the mum was like, I'm not going to do lollies, like, we're just going to have, like, we still had an amazing cake and everything that, but just for them to like go and understand, that was being so inclusive. Nice.
Because she's probably not wanting Jack to feel left out. Like, you know, you've got all the lollies everywhere, and he can have one or two, but all the other kids are hyped up going like, look at all the lollies I've got, like more. And then Jack's then feeling like, oh, I can't do that. You know, you don't want to segregate kids. You want to try and be as inclusive as possible.
Absolutely.
But I think just listening to your story, even just if someone is in the position where their child or their self or whoever has just been diagnosed, I think just taking one day at a time, because look at like how far you've come. You know, 1 minute you're trying to count carbs and going off paperwork,
shaking, trying to put an injection in.
And then next minute, you know, you're able to look at certain foods and kind of work it out in your head.
Oh, I feel so confident in managing Jack's type 1. Like, that's the thing, is like what I felt like when he first got diagnosed to what I feel like now. Like, I feel like I'm all over it.
Yeah, and I think that's something that people can really hold on to. Like, yes, you're so overwhelmed right now. It is a lot, but just deep breaths, one day at a time, and you will get there, and soon it will be more second nature. It's still going to be always, this is something you're carrying now through life, but you know, you will become more used to it.
Absolutely. And the thing that I tell Jack, because Jack gets a lot of questions at schools and like, what's on your stomach or what's on your arm, like, what is this, like, and it's natural for kids to ask, but I think it's like, for him, Jack's been seeing a little bit of a mentor as well for his type 1, which has been incredible. And the big thing is, it's not his job or responsibility to have to tell everybody everything. Yeah. And like, take that weight off your shoulders, mate, and just say, tell your kids, tell your friends, like, maybe you should ask your mum and dad to do some research on it. Yeah,
this is what I've got, you should do some research.
Yeah, like, you don't have to sit there and explain it. And some days Jack just tells them to like go, like, I don't want to talk to them. But it's, again, that awareness, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. 100%. Well, thank you.
We'll definitely share more and more as it comes. That's a little bit of insight. Probably got a little bit emotional, but I think it's just one of those situations that it is really highly emotional.
It wouldn't be human if you weren't going to be emotional talking about that.
No.
So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, cool.